new Witcher footage out. Ish. Kind of. I mean, you're right. They did reuse some footage.
Yeah.
But it's kind of compiled into a semi-new trailer.
I think it's great that they didn't give us anything new. If we're only getting so many
Was there anything new in it?
There was, I think, extended footage of him becoming, or extended footage of him killing people in that village.
Yeah.
Where there's a name for that. It's, the something of the town, or something of the town it's called. I forget what the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Like the capital?
It's a pivotal point in The Witcher, his storyline, because he's killing like people who are monsters as opposed to monsters that are monsters. So that's kind of the plot I think they're taking.
Yeah,
the butcher butcher of something.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, he becomes known as the butcher of something. I'll tell you right now.
Google.
But yeah, I agree with you that they did include, I think, a little bit more.
The Butcher of Blaviken, which is the town that he like slaughters all those people in because they have a fucking bum ruler who's like doing a whole bunch of shit. It's storyline that has obviously yet to, like we got to see it play out.
Right.
But they threw more of that in there because I think that's what they're going to focus on in this show.
The choreography looks pretty cool. I mean, there were only quick cuts of it, but I could tell already that it's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're working at those fight scenes.
Yeah.
Definitely not half-assed, which is good.
And I don't even know who plays Geralt. I can't remember.
Geralt's the main character? Yeah. The old Superman, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Man of Steel Superman.
You're probably right. I don't fucking know. But anyway,
Henry Cavill.
I think looks perfect for the role.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Big guy.
I think he's going to be awesome in that role.
Yeah, I'm just really excited for this show. It's something different. It's some more high fantasy that we've yet to see other than Game of Thrones.
I want to see more monsters in the trailers.
I don't think we're gonna.
I don't think we will either.
And I'll tell you why.
I think we'll see a lot of monsters in the show?
Not a whole lot. To be honest, I don't think they're gonna blow up the budget with that.
When they disappointed.
We're definitely gonna see some. Like you can't have The Witcher without it.
I mean, he's a monster slayer.
No.
His profession.
In there's also a scene in the trailer where you see the hand of a monster.
Yeah,
that's a person who has been transformed and deformed into a monster. It's almost like a curse, I want to say.
Yep.
But so we'll see that for sure, and the spider for sure. I don't know what else we'll see, if anything, but I know they want to focus it on like people being the monsters too, and like tell that story through that.
Right.
So I don't think they're gonna blow. It's not gonna be a show about like, look at how cool this CGI monster is.
And I hope it's not, but at the same time, I think it would be doing a disservice to The Witcher. If they didn't add enough monster, it's a balancing act.
Yeah, I doubt we'll be disappointed with the amount of monster content,
because at least
in this story,
I haven't read the books, but at least in the video game, there's so many, and the game was based on the book. So at least in the game, there's so many like interesting creatures. And when I say interesting, not only in the way they look, but like the lore behind the creatures.
Do they have intellect? Some of these creatures, like they talk and like do like they're not just ravage monsters.
I don't know about talk, but yeah,
they think.
Yeah, some of them.
Okay,
and like a lot of them are like centered around like spells, like people have turned into these monsters, or
like curse themselves.
There's like a
forbidden thing.
Yeah, there's more story to these creatures other than here's a really scary creature,
right?
You know, and I hope they kind of explore that in the show.
I want to know.
We're only getting 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
I want to know what the fuck that spider's deal is.
Same. Dude, when he takes the
potion and he turns,
and his eyes like dilate.
Yeah.
So cool.
I wonder how long each episode is going to be. It's got to be 45 minutes.
I was just gonna ask that. I hope it's like I'd love to see it like as long as Game of Thrones episodes.
Like 45 minutes, hour episodes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I will be pissed off if they are 20-minute shorts.
I'd be so pissed. I don't think you could really do the show right if there were 20 minutes, honestly. I mean, I'm envisioning something like Game of Thrones, at least lengthwise.
Yeah, and
I think an hour long at least. I think Netflix is out for a loss of money here.
I think the producers or whatever, or the directors of this show are getting pissed when people are comparing it to Game of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah, because it's not supposed to be. It's
I know
a complete different story.
Look at this article I just clicked on.
See? That's
The
crazy.
Witcher's already trying to divert those Game of Thrones comparisons.
Because it's a different show. And
It is.
Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. I mean, incomparable to any other show
Yeah.
ever. And I don't think, because I think what's going to happen if people do compare it to Game of Thrones is they're going to probably say, oh man, what a disappointment. This wasn't Game of Thrones because Thrones is so massive.
So you think they're kind of watering down expectations a little bit?
Maybe, but I don't think they have to at the same time. I think it's going to be just a good high fantasy show.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different from whatever we have out now.
There's going to be some similarities. You can't get around that.
Yeah, swords and
it's a fantasy show.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So any fantasy show is going to have some overlap, but you're right. It's completely different. Well, at least significantly different than Game of Thrones.
I think one of the biggest differences we're going to see in this show is how potions and magic are benefactors to a lot of people. We're going to see a lot more magic in this show, I think. And that's what's going to make it cool. We're going to see a lot more animation, CGI thrown in there to give us these cool effects that you don't get in Game of Thrones. I mean, you get a shit ton of dragons and whatnot, but I mean, other than the Red Priestess, where else we getting spirits and shit like that? It's nowhere else in Game of Thrones. And I think that's where it's truly going to set itself apart and make this its own thing. It's gonna. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a comparison, and people are going to be like, "Oh, is this going to be better than this?" Or what does this have to offer me that Game of Thrones had? This way, I could maybe get into this because people watch Game of Thrones and they're very interested in sword fighting now, and back in the day, castles, moats, riding horseback type of shit.
That stuff. Medieval stuff is fascinating.
Yeah, and that's Game of Thrones got a lot of people back on that wave, and now they're looking towards Witcher to fill that hole that Game of Thrones has left us because it's off TV and done.
The only magic we saw in Game of Thrones was the Red Priestess, but the Children of the Forest when they threw the bombs at. You remember those the power bombs?
Yeah,
or
they were beyond the wall.
Yeah, but that's really it, to be honest.
Listen to this quote from Geralt.
The actor or the character?
The character.
Okay. Like a line he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think this perfectly sums up how the Netflix show is going to go. I love this quote. I carry 2 swords, one of silver for creatures that roam the wild, one of steel for humans in their cities of stone. They're both for monsters.
Yeah.
So the show is going to be taking a deep look into what makes someone or something a monster. And it's going to blur the lines, I think, between the
physical monsters,
the classic monsters with deformities and whatnot, and monsters like people doing terrible things.
Right.
That's a fascinating concept to me.
That spider looks cool as fuck.
Yeah,
but
it does.
That's what I'm so curious to see, the story they're gonna tell with the
I'm
people.
very curious of what the big bad's gonna be at the end of the day.
Yeah,
who's the one lurking in the shadows type of thing, and it's something to look forward to. I'm really excited about this.
When does do we have a date yet?
I don't think we have a date.
There's no date.
It's the end of this year, though.
There's no date. They say the end of this year, so either late November, maybe early mid-December.
We got to be getting a date soon, though, right? I mean,
unless they're having trouble, but
do you think they'll delay it?
I hope not, but it does.
Didn't they already delay it?
No, it is worrisome though that they haven't put out an official date yet. But
I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, if it comes down to it, I think it's because they want to release all the episodes at once, so we haven't gotten an official date yet.
Fuck that! I'm pissed. About
I know
that.
you are, but that's definitely why we haven't gotten a date, and that's why it's okay that we haven't gotten a date. Because if they were doing episode by episode, they definitely have the first episode done by now, and they would give us that. And if they're struggling to finish out the last 3, then they would have the time to finish them over the course of the show.
Right.
What Witcher are you playing right now?
The Wild Hunt.
Which one is that?
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never played the first 2, but 3 is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's going to be really interesting to see how much crossover there is.
Yeah, honestly.
So
I wonder
I'm
if it's
excited.
only 2 to the 3rd, or only one particular game, or if it's taking things from all the books.
Yeah,
it's who the F knows.
This could be a Game of Thrones esque show, and I know I just bashed people.
Divert from that, man.
I know. I just bashed people for comparing it, but I'm saying like lore wise, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a world not on the same scale as Game of Thrones, but it's a world in depth enough to make a whole shit ton of stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd like to see a lot of The Witcher.